All right. Hey everyone. So I decided to show you the builds that I use to clear this game. Okay. I know this is that Maelle was nerfed. They basically nerfed 40% of the damage of Stand Hall. Sucks, but it's fine. It was really overtuned anyway. You can still dominate the game without it. That's okay. Okay. So I'm gonna show you how. This is a very high risk, high reward build. For this build, you're gonna notice that both Verso and Maelle will be always at 1 HP, and this will proc a ton of damage Luminous, okay, which will skyrocket their damage, okay. And even though they will be at 1 HP, they will still be very tanky because of shields, and you'll see the synergies in a second. So let me show you first Verso first. So the weapon I'm using is Blow Them. So as you can see, he has a very good, respectable damage. Good scaling. Too bad it's on defense. I would rather it was in luck, but it's fine. The really important things to consider here is the 20% increased light damage, because one of the skills that you'll be using the most is a light skill. And also the level 4, which is essential for Verso, which basically sets your perfection to S as long as you have 1 HP. That's what we're aiming at. As you can see my stats on the right side of the screen there, I have no points in vitality. Like, you want to be at 1 HP all the time, so you don't care about vitality. I don't have points in luck anymore because I have enough Pictos to get me to a good critical rate. And I also have Luminous that help with that, so I removed my points for luck. But if you're not at end game yet, you might want to add luck until you're at least 80 or 50, 85% or so critical rate, so you can add the remaining crit through Luminous. And I'm going to show you how in a second. So that's the web for Verso. The Pictos, again, you don't really care much about which Pictos you're using at the game. All that matters is the stats that they give you. So for Verso, I want him to be the first character to go. So I added Energizing Turn, just to give him a boatload of speed there. And also I wanted critical rate, so I just added those two there, but they doesn't really matter which Pictos you're using as long as they give the stats. Now the most important part is the Luminous. So here is the core of the build. Let me show you favorites. I think it's better. Alright, so this build absolutely needs Immediate Res. It needs Painted Power, of course, right? Pretty much every build, I'd say. Shielding Death. Okay, you absolutely need that. Base Shield is really important, but you can make do without it. At Death's Door. Glass Cannon. First Strike. Confident Fighter and Critical Burn. And Second Chance. There are some others that favor it here. They're okay, they're good, but they're not essential. You can make do without them, as long as you have those luminous that I mentioned. Okay, so the idea is that both at Death's Door and Confident Fighter will be increasing our damage exponentially, right? Because we will always be at low health and we don't care about being healed, right? And Immediate Res will make sure that we start the fight with 3 shields, which is basically ignore the first 3 instances of damage that you take, and then the 4th one will kill you. But even if you die, that's okay, because you have Shielding Death, Energizing Death, and Energizing Revive. What that means is, if Verso dies, Shielding Death will add 3 more shields to Luna and Maelle, so they will become even tankier, and they will also get 4 AP. So they basically recharge their AP almost to full by doing that. And when he gets revived by a Revive Tint or by Luna's skill, he will give 3 more AP to everyone. So that's how you keep your AP going. Like, you die. Like, dying is really good. Like, if you die with one character, you're doing something right. If you die with all of them, yeah, that's a little bit. But it's really hard to get to die with all of them, because you also have Second Chance. And Second Chance is really important as well, because maybe you mess up, maybe maybe a boss hit you 8 times in a single turn, and you went through all your shields. That's fine. Second Chance is there, so you get revived. By the way, Energizing Revive applies to Second Chance, so whenever your Second Chance triggers, everyone you gain 3 AP. So that's also good. And again, Glass Cannon, you take more damage, doesn't matter. We are 1 HP anyway. You just want to do more damage, right? Critical Burn is really good, because if you don't get to 100% crit rate, This will make sure you get there because Lune will always add burn damage to the enemies, and this will increase the crit chance. As long as with critical moment will also increase the crit chance for you because you're always at 1 health, so 50% increased critical chance all the time. And burn affinity, more damage because you will be burning constantly, right? Painted power, I mean, I don't need to explain this one. This is essential, right? First strike, again, I don't see why you would not use this. And yeah, let's go to the other Luminas now. Aegis Revival. This is good because you always get a shield when you revive, which is great. But I wouldn't say it's essential. You can do without it. Auto Rush, I would say it's almost essential for everyone. I think this is so good. There's no reason to not have it. That's why it's there. Charging Critical helps a lot with charging gradient attacks, which are the best attacks in the game. Especially Maelle's third gradient attack is amazing. Right? It does more damage than Stenhouse did, I think, before, right? Even before the nerfs, but yeah, that's why it's there. Cheater, I think it's also really, really important if you want to do anything in the end game. If you want to find any super bosses, you need Cheater. Right? Dodger, I mean, whatever, right? Energizing Gradient is also really good to keep you refill. Right? Let's say if you are not dying, you're not refilling your AP. So if you're playing really, really well, you're not refilling your AP. Actually, you are if you know how to parry, but if you're just dodging, you're just getting 1 AP every turn from Dodger. That's sad. But if you do gradient attacks, you're getting AP as well. That's okay. Greater Powerful is really good. Verso can apply Powerful, and he can also get Powerful when he dies through the Powerful Revive. What is it? Well, it should be here. Maybe it's over here. Powerful Revive. There you go. So whenever you revive with Powerful. And Powerful means you are dealing 15% more damage. And with Greater Powerful, it's 15 plus 15, which is not quite 30%, but it's almost there. Marking shots is good because Maelle uses that a lot. Uses marking very well, not only through her skills but through the weapon that we're using. We're not using the weapon that was nerfed actually as well. We're using the other one that you get from her personal quest. Inverted Affinity is really good. You don't really heal. You don't care about being inverted, so that means 50% more damage on the first 3 turns. That's great. SOS Power and SOS Rush also good because sometimes you will be revived with more than 1 HP. You will be using Overload to get back to 1 HP, and then you're gonna gain Powerful and Rush again. Shortcut, next turn on the first turn basically, because you're playing. Your first turn is gonna be actually 3 turns. The first one is the normal one. Then you will be using Overload to proc Shortcut, and you get an extra turn. Then you will attack, and then you get the cheater turn. So you're basically acting 3 times. You're gonna see how that works. This is whatever. I didn't have where to spend the point. And warming up, 5% damage every turn. You know, this really helps you scale your damage at the late game when you lose your inverted benefit. You know, and stuff like that. So also good. That's basically it. I am basically running the same things here on Maelle and Lune, with just a few differences, but the build is pretty much the same. You can run whatever, like Enfeeble Mark. This is not necessary, but I just put it there because I don't have where to spend this point. Actually, I do. Yeah, whatever. Marking shots, again, good for Maelle, good for them. SOS Power, I could add SOS Rush, right? Let's actually do that. So yeah. Lune, same thing. Okay, that's pretty much it. The thing is, Lune doesn't actually have a way to get to 1 health. Verso and Maelle do. So we're just gonna use the same build. She doesn't need to do any damage. They will be doing more than enough damage for everything. She's just here for applying burn and reviving, them when they die. Also for applying thunderstorms to remove shields. That's also important. So now for the skills. I'm using Defiant Strike. You don't need to use whatever you want here. Phantom Stars is really, really important. Okay, because you always be in S rank because you're being with 1 health, right? Thanks to the weapon, the blow them. So you always spend only 5 AP to be able to use Phantom Stars. That's really good because the skill is really strong and it helps you break enemies. So good on AoE scenarios. Endbringer is it's give or take. Like it's fine. It's not an amazing skill at all. Verso is not an amazing DPS, anyways. So you can use this if you don't feel confident about Steel Strike, which is the best versus best attack. Like the thing is, Steel Strike, it's only really good if you can guarantee having the second turn after the first one you cast, because it takes a turn to charge, right? And if you are using cheater, you get a second turn immediately, so you can cast this using the both turns, right? Then you're gonna be doing decent damage. But if you don't have the next turn, then you gotta make sure you don't you dodge everything or you parry everything. It's really hard to do that on the end game fights, right? So sometimes I just use Endbringer to make sure I do some damage. It's better than not doing any damage if I get hit by this. Even if you have shield, if they hit you and hit the shield, you will lose Steel Strike. So you gotta be careful of that. And then overload. This is important. You know, you don't wanna have a way to get yourself to 1 HP. So there you go. And powerful, you know, just a way to apply powerful, like maybe if the fight lasts a little bit longer, you can do that. Like you don't need to like use anything you want here. Like if you want to use other good skills, like you also have one like Berserk Slash, which is deals more damage for each point of health he's missing. Go ahead and do that. I don't. You feel free to do whatever you want. Now for Maelle. I use Flurry when I don't have enough AP to use Sten Hall or maybe Sword Ballet or Gustav's Homage. But I want to keep her on Virtual Stance, so that's good. Um, yeah, I mean, this is just something that you can use sometimes. What's really important here is Last Chance. This is what we're going to be using often. Like 1 AP to put you in Virtuals and give you back 9 AP is crazy. This is insane. This is why I came up with this build, because I saw this, because I was like, this is crazy. This is so good. So yeah, this is what you're gonna be using every 2 turns, I would say, with Maelle. Sword Ballet is, you know, give or take some. It's decent damage. It's fine, like whatever, right? Stand Hall is still, even though it was nerfed, it's still your best source of damage here. Gustav's Homage also really good damage if your target's a market, which we are using market shots, so whenever your turn starts with Maelle, you can just aim and shoot your opponent till you mark them, or you're in at 1 AP, so you can cast Last Chance and you're not waste any APs, right? So you can do that and use Gustav's Homage with that. Feel free to do so. And the last skill we have is Breaking Rules. If you're fighting an enemy with a ton of shields, there you go. It's kind of like a low damage, but you remove all the shields and you do the damage. It's better than doing no damage, right? So, yeah. Now for Lune. Lune just cares about 2 things. 3 actually. Rebirth. You need this skill to revive your allies, right? Because revive tints, they end at some point. You only have like 11 or 12 of them, right? So at some point you're not going to have any more revive tints, so that's why Rebirth is here. But for damage, he's going to be using Elemental Trick and Elemental Genesis. Elemental Trick is going to add all 4 of these things because you're going to crit every single hit. Like maybe you're super unlucky and you miss one, that's fine. That's why you have Immolation and Thermal Transfer to get back those things, right? And also keep adding burn and getting some AP back, right? But Elemental Trick is the setup, and then Elemental Genesis is the payoff. This does a lot of damage. Like doesn't really compare too much with Maelle's damage. She's the best single target damage in the game. I mean, maybe you have a build with Sail that does more. Yeah, but mine is not the case. I don't want to use Sail. But this is what you'll be using mostly with Lune. Elemental Trick, Elemental Genesis. And go on, so on and so forth. Rebirth for reviving everyone. And Stormcaller is really just a utility that I added here. Just, you know, maybe you're fighting an enemy with a ton of shields. Like this helps you get through the shields. Maybe, like, I think it's Serpent Pair also gets a ton of shields all the time. Stormcaller, and then your attacks break through two shields at the same time, right? And that's pretty much it. And yeah, I mean, oh yeah, Lune's weapon is a Coraline. This is important because it adds a lot of damage if you're able to dodge properly. Like she can really do some crazy damage if you're like the 5 turns without taking damage. That's really good. Also the scalings are decent, right? And crit supply burn. That's what we want, right? We just wanted to apply burn. Maybe there are better weapons. I don't know. You do you. But for Verso, you really need Blood Dam. That's mandatory. And in Maelle, I'm actually using Lithium. I know a lot of builds use Medallum. I don't. I just go for Lithium. because I like this weapon. I like the fact that the damage is void. Like I don't think there are many enemies who resist or are immune to void. At least I don't remember seeing any, right? And if you're able to parry, it puts you in virtual stance back. That's really good. And Lithium also, like if you're in virtual stance, your marks are not removed when you hit the enemy with mark. That's awesome, right? So you can stand haul an enemy and keep him marked to stand haul again on the next turn. Right? And that's why I use Lithium. You can see my attributes there. I'm using a lot of luck with Maelle because she scales her weapon damage with luck. And you'll see again, all of my stats are on damage. I don't need defense at all. So there we go. Now let's fight a random enemy here. Whatever, stage 11, let's go. Yeah. I mean, that took way too longer than it should, but whatever. Let's kill these bosses. Start with overload.
Maximum damage.
Charge code procs, we got another turn. Phantom stars. Yeah, that's very okay-ish damage. Do it again. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, right? No, not crazy, but AoE, give you a take, right? Now we got the force things here. There we go. Now she deals real damage. More importantly, she applies burn to everyone. So then Maelle can come here and mark. Now that he's marked, I'm gonna go use last chance. I don't know, I'm just gonna use Gustav so much because whatever. It's gonna kill him anyway, doesn't matter. Let's mark the next one. Didn't mark, that's shame, that's okay. Last chance, we're the last point of AP anyway, so.
I've lived through worse.
Well, now we're low on AP with Verso because we did not die. Oh, that's a shame, so let's just go ahead and use a energy tint on him. Go ahead and Endbringer this guy.
End of the line.
Pretty okay-ish damage, nothing that great. So let's go ahead and use gradient attack here, kill this guy. Let's try to mark this guy. Nope. That's unlucky. That's okay. Lost chance again. That's alright. I'm not gonna die anyway.
You're outmatched.
He's stunned, but he plays again, so whatever. Let's go ahead and kill him. Even though he had shields, it counts as a critical hit and she gets the stains, but I don't have enough AP. That's a shame. Let's get some AP back. Now we just kill him with Stand Hall, whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I could show you, you know, this build fighting a super boss, but I don't really want to give too much spoilers, so yeah. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I'll be able to answer any questions you might have. You might have to adapt this build actually if you want to fight one of the super bosses, because he steals shields away, so you don't want to give him shields for free. But you can do that. You can just go ahead and fight him with no shields. It's a bit hard, but you know, it's a super boss. It's supposed to be hard, right? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.